Hello, and welcome to Baby Bedtime Stories, the best place for magical tales and soothing melodies. Close your eyes, relax, and let the adventure begin. The morning sun rose gently over Pawsburg, casting a warm, golden light across the town. The storm was now just a memory, washed away by the night's calm. Birds chirped happily in the trees, and the streets, once soaked with rain, now glistened under the soft morning glow. Inside the Brave Paws Rescue headquarters, everything was still. The pups, curled up in their cozy beds, breathed softly in their sleep. The room was quiet, except for the gentle rhythm of their breathing and a few little snores from Toby. It was a peaceful start to a brand new day, or so they thought. Pawsburg was a town like no other. It was a place where animals and humans lived in perfect harmony, always ready to help one another. The morning sun bathed the town in golden light, and the scent of fresh flowers filled the air. Birds chirped happily from the treetops, and the streets buzzed with friendly chatter. At the heart of the town stood the Brave Paws Rescue headquarters, a big red building where the Brave Paws Rescue Team lived and trained. Inside, the 4 heroic pups were enjoying their morning, completely unaware that a storm was slowly creeping toward them. Inside the command center, Max, the clever border collie, was busy reviewing the team's training schedule. His sharp eyes scanned the calendar as he planned their next rescue drills. Just as he was writing down notes, something outside caught his attention. His ears perked up and his tail stiffened. The bright blue sky was no longer clear. Dark clouds had begun to gather on the horizon. Max stood up and walked to the window, watching the shadows creeping over the town. A gust of wind rattled the trees, and he knew something was changing. "This could be bad," he muttered. At the shimmering lake on the edge of Pawsburg, Bella, the golden retriever water rescue expert, was practicing her swimming drills. She loved the feeling of the cool water against her fur as she retrieved floating rescue buoys. But as she paddled back to shore, she noticed the lake's surface ripple strangely. The once clear water turned dark under the shadow of the growing storm clouds. The wind picked up, sending small waves splashing against the docks. Bella climbed onto the shore and shook out her wet fur, her eyes locked on the sky. A storm? This doesn't look good. Across town, Rocky, the speedy husky, was checking the rescue sled in the training yard. The sled was an important tool during snow rescues, and Rocky took pride in keeping it in top shape. As he tightened the straps, a strong gust of wind blew through the yard, rustling the trees. The sudden chill made Rocky look up. The once bright sky had turned gray, and the smell of rain filled the air. Meanwhile, Toby, the fearless bulldog firefighter, was washing the fire truck, humming a little tune. Suddenly, he heard a deep rumbling sound in the sky. He sniffed the air and grinned knowingly. "Smells like a storm is coming." One by one, the pups gathered back at headquarters, realizing that something was about to happen. Max called for an emergency meeting. "The weather is changing fast. We need to be ready in case Pawsburg needs us." The team checked their rescue gear, stocked up on supplies, and reviewed their emergency plans. Even though the storm hadn't arrived yet, they knew that a good rescue team is always prepared. The wind howled louder, and the first raindrops began to fall. But inside their cozy headquarters, the Brave Paws Rescue Team felt calm and confident. Max looked at his team and smiled. No matter what happens, we'll handle it together. The pups nodded, listening to the soft patter of rain against the windows, feeling safe, ready, and proud. The sun vanished behind thick gray clouds, leaving Pawsburg in eerie darkness. Heavy raindrops splattered against windows, and the wind howled through the streets, shaking tree branches and sending leaves flying. Puddles formed along the sidewalks, reflecting flashes of lightning that danced across the sky. Inside their cozy headquarters, the Brave Paws Rescue Team watched the storm from the large rescue window. The warmth of their shelter contrasted with the wild weather outside, but deep down, they knew it wouldn't be long before someone needed their help. Standing near the window, Max, the clever border collie, watched the storm with sharp, focused eyes. His ears twitched at the sound of howling wind, and his tail flicked anxiously. His mind raced with possibilities. Would there be fallen trees, flooded roads, power outages? Max narrowed his eyes. The storm is getting stronger. We need to be ready to help if anything happens. Each member of the team sprang into action, checking their rescue gear. Bella, the water rescue expert, secured her life vest and rescue rope, knowing that if the rain didn't stop soon, the river might overflow. She took a deep breath and whispered, "I hope no one gets stuck in the flood, but if they do, I'll be there to save them." Rocky, the snow rescuer, placed emergency flashlights and warm blankets into the rescue truck. Speed wasn't always the most important thing in a rescue. Sometimes comfort and safety mattered more. He nodded to himself. A rescue is not just about speed. It's about making sure everyone is warm and safe. Toby, the fearless firefighter bulldog, inspected the fire truck and ladder. He glanced at the power lines swaying in the strong wind. His eyes darkened with concern. A big storm like this can cause fires or power outages. I need to be ready. Just as the team finished checking their gear. Beep, beep. The rescue radio crackled to life. Emergency. A tree has fallen near the bridge, blocking the road, and the river is rising fast. Max's ears shot up. This was it, their first mission of the night. He turned to the team, his voice firm and confident. "This is it, team. Let's go." Without hesitation, the pups sprinted toward their rescue vehicles, the rain splashing under their paws. As they drove through the darkened streets, heavy rain drummed against the truck's windshield. But the Brave Paws Rescue Team didn't waver. Max's voice came through the communicator. "No matter how strong the storm is, we are stronger when we work together." Hearing this, the pups felt a surge of confidence. They weren't afraid, not when they had each other. The rhythmic tap-tap-tap of the rain almost sounded like a song, steady and calming. Even though the storm raged outside, the Brave Paws Rescue Team felt safe and determined. With headlights cutting through the darkness, they drove toward their first mission of the night. The Brave Paws Rescue Team sped through the rain-soaked streets of Pawsburg, their rescue vehicles splashing through deep puddles. The wind howled like a wolf, bending the trees, and flashes of lightning lit up the dark sky. As they neared the old stone bridge, Max squinted through the rain. His heart sank. Right in the middle of the road, A massive tree had fallen, its thick branches blocking the path completely. Max's ears perked up. This wasn't just a roadblock, it was dangerous. If the bridge stayed blocked, no one could escape if the river flooded. Max leaped out of the rescue truck, rain dripping from his fur as he scanned the scene. His sharp mind worked fast. We need to move quickly before the floodwaters rise too high, he said. Everyone has an important role. His team nodded with determination. Toby, the strong firefighter bulldog, rushed toward the fallen tree. He planted his paws firmly on the wet ground and pushed against the heavy trunk with all his strength. Ugh, this tree is massive, but I know just what to do, Toby growled. He wouldn't give up. Meanwhile, Rocky, the speedy snow rescuer husky, unrolled a thick rescue rope. He secured it tightly around the trunk, then hooked it to the team's rescue truck. If we work together, we can pull it away, Rocky said, tightening the knots with precision. Nearby, Bella, the water rescue expert, golden retriever, noticed something alarming. The river's water was rising dangerously close to the bridge. Her ears flattened with worry. We need to hurry before the water gets too high, she warned, keeping a sharp eye on the rushing current. With the rain pouring down, the team put their plan into motion. Rocky pulled the rope tight. Toby dug his paws into the ground and pushed with all his might. Max directed everyone, making sure they worked in perfect sync. Bella stood ready, her rescue rope prepared in case anyone needed help. The tree creaked and groaned, but refused to budge. Max gritted his teeth. One more time, all together, pull. With a final mighty effort, the tree shifted. Then crack, it split in two, making it easier to clear the road. The team let out a cheer, shaking the rain from their fur. Max wagged his tail. See? No mission is too big when we work together. Toby grinned. And no tree is too heavy when we use teamwork. The road was clear, and for a moment, the pups took a deep breath, listening to the soft sound of the rain. The hardest part was over, or so they thought. Beep, beep. The rescue radio crackled again. Emergency, the river is overflowing near the school. The pups exchanged determined looks. Their mission wasn't over yet. The Brave Paws Rescue Team sped through the rain-soaked streets, their rescue truck splashing through deep puddles as they headed toward Pawsburg School. The storm had grown stronger. Streetlights flickered, casting eerie shadows over the wet roads. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and the wind whipped against the windows of their truck. As they reached the school, the pups gasped. The river had overflowed, sending rushing water toward the schoolyard. Max's ears flattened. This was worse than he expected. Max jumped out of the truck, his paws landing in cold, rising water. He scanned the school grounds. The playground was already flooded, and the water lapped against the school steps. Max's mind raced. If the water keeps rising, it could reach the classrooms. We need to act fast. Turning to his team, he barked out commands. Bella, you're on water rescues. Toby, clear the entrance. Rocky, check for anyone stuck outside. The team nodded and sprang into action. Rocky dashed toward the flooded playground, his paws splashing as he ran. A small, frightened kitten clung to the top of a playground slide, meowing loudly. The water was creeping higher, threatening to wash the little one away. Rocky's eyes widened. We have to get that little one to safety before the water rises any higher. He carefully waded through the shallower areas, keeping his balance on the slippery ground. As he reached the slide, he gently lifted the tiny kitten onto his back, keeping it safe and dry. Meanwhile, Bella, wearing her bright yellow life vest, leaped into the fast-moving water. A teacher stood stranded on the other side of the schoolyard, struggling to move through the strong current. Bella grabbed her rescue rope and swam against the rushing water. "Hold on to this. I'll guide you across." With careful strokes, she led the teacher to safety, using the rope to steady them. At the same time, Toby was working hard near the entrance. A pile of branches and debris had blocked the school doors, making it hard for students and teachers to exit. Toby dug his paws into the ground and shoved the debris aside, clearing the entrance. "Now everyone has a way out," he said proudly. With teamwork and quick thinking, the Brave Paws Rescue Team had saved the stranded kitten, cleared the blocked entrance, helped the teacher cross safely. Max gathered his team, his tail wagging. "That was great work, everyone. Even small rescues, like saving one little kitten, can make a big difference." Rocky nuzzled the kitten, who purred happily. Helping others, no matter how small, is what being a hero is all about. The school's teachers thanked the team, relief shining in their eyes. Though the rain still fell, the town felt safer, knowing Brave Paws was there to help. Just as they returned to the truck, their radio crackled again. Another emergency. There's a power outage in the town square. Max exchanged looks with his team. "Looks like our night isn't over yet. Let's roll." The Brave Paws Rescue Team sped toward Pawsburg's town square, their rescue truck rolling through the rain-soaked streets. The normally bright and cheerful town center was now completely dark. Street lamps no longer glowed. Shop windows were pitch black, and the only light came from flashes of lightning in the stormy sky. A few worried residents stood outside their homes, looking around nervously. The silence between the thunderclaps made the town feel unsettlingly quiet. Max's ears twitched as he scanned the scene. He knew that without power, people and animals might feel lost and afraid. Jumping out of the truck, Max studied the dark streets. The most dangerous issue was the traffic lights. They were completely out. Cars were still moving through the intersections, unsure of when to stop or go. Max's tail flicked as he thought, "We need to set up lights and help people find their way safely." He turned to Rocky. "We need flashlights placed along the sidewalks. Can you handle that?" Rocky gave a confident nod. "On it, Max." Rocky ran back to the rescue truck and grabbed a bag full of emergency flashlights. He quickly placed them along the sidewalks, making sure that residents could see where they were going. As he set up the final light, he wagged his tail. Even a little light can make a big difference in the darkness. Meanwhile, Toby was investigating something near the electrical box at the edge of the town square. His sharp eyes spotted the problem. A fallen tree branch had knocked down some power lines. His heart pounded. If anyone got too close, they could get hurt. He hurried to set up warning cones and barriers to block off the area. "We need to mark this area as dangerous so no one gets hurt." As Bella walked through the town square, she noticed an elderly couple struggling to cross the dark, wet street. She rushed to their side. "Let me help you," she said gently. Guiding them carefully, she made sure they reached a safe, dry spot. Just as she was about to return to Max, she heard a soft whimper. A tiny puppy sat near a storefront, shivering in the dark, lost and scared. Bella's heart melted. "Oh no, little one, let's find your family." She nuzzled the pup close, giving him warmth as she searched for his owner. Within minutes, she found a worried child calling out for their pet. Bella wagged her tail as she returned the puppy. "There you go, safe and sound." The child hugged Bella. "Thank you. You're a hero." With the team's quick work, Max and Rocky set up emergency lights, keeping the roads safe. Toby blocked off the downed power lines to prevent danger. Bella helped residents cross safely and reunited a lost puppy with its owner. Even though the power was still out, Pawsburg felt a little brighter and much safer. Max gathered his team. Helping in a power outage isn't just about fixing electricity. It's about making sure everyone feels safe, even in the dark. Rocky nodded, and even the smallest light can bring hope. The pups took a deep breath, finally thinking they might get a moment to rest. But then, beep, beep, their rescue radio crackled to life again. "Emergency! A family is stranded in their car on a flooded road." Max looked at his team, determination shining in his eyes. "One more mission before we can rest. Let's go." The Brave Paws Rescue Team sped toward Maple Street, their headlights slicing through the pouring rain. The emergency call had been urgent. A family was trapped in a car as floodwaters rose around them. When the pups arrived, their hearts tightened with concern. A small car sat in the middle of the flooded road, half submerged in murky water. Inside, a mother and her 2 young children peered through the windows, their faces filled with fear. The rain continued to fall, and the water level crept higher, swirling dangerously around the car's tires. Max's ears snapped forward. They had to act fast. Max leaped out of the truck, his sharp eyes scanning the flood. He quickly assessed the depth of the water and mapped out the safest way to reach the stranded family. "The current is strong, but we can do this," he said firmly. His tail flicked as he calculated the best approach. "We have to get him out safely, one at a time." He turned to Bella. "You're up, Bella. Take the rescue float." Without hesitation, Bella strapped on her bright yellow life vest and grabbed a rescue float. The cold water lapped at her paws as she carefully waded forward, her strong legs keeping her steady. She could feel the current pulling against her, but she pushed through. This was her specialty. "I'm ready," she thought. "The water is strong, but I know how to swim through it safely." Meanwhile, Rocky grabbed a long rescue rope and tied it tightly to a tree, creating a safety guide for Bella and the family. With this rope, Bella will have extra support in case the current is strong, Rocky said as he secured the knot. Toby stood by the road, keeping the area clear and stopping cars from entering the flooded street. "The last thing we need is another car getting stuck," he muttered, making sure everyone stayed safe. Bella reached the car and gently pressed her paw against the window. "It's okay. I'm here to help," she said, her voice calm and soothing. The mother nodded with relief, clutching her children close. One by one, Bella led them to safety. First, she guided the little boy onto the rescue float, paddling carefully as she brought him to dry land. Then she returned for the little girl, making sure she held on to the rope to stay steady. Finally, the mother took a deep breath and followed Bella through the water, step by step, until she reached the shore. As they reached dry land, Max and Rocky helped pull them up, while Toby wrapped warm blankets around the shivering children. The mother, her clothes soaked but her heart filled with gratitude, hugged her children tightly. "I was so scared, but you all stayed calm and helped us. Thank you so much," she said, her eyes brimming with relief. Max gave a reassuring smile. "Staying calm in an emergency helps us find the best solution. You did great, too." The little boy looked up at Bella with wide, admiring eyes. "You swim so well. I want to be brave like you." Bella wagged her tail, nuzzling his cheek. "Being brave doesn't mean we're never scared. It means we do the right thing, even when we are." The rain finally slowed, and the floodwaters stopped rising. A kind neighbor invited the family inside for warm tea and dry clothes. Back at the rescue truck, the pups finally heard silence from their radio. For the first time all night, Max let out a deep sigh. Their biggest rescues were done. He turned to his team, his voice filled with pride. "You've all done amazing work tonight. Let's head back and rest." The pups smiled, feeling proud. As they drove home, the storm clouds began to drift away, revealing a soft glow of moonlight over Pawsburg. The night was finally peaceful again. The Brave Paws Rescue Team left the flooded streets behind, the rescue truck rolling slowly through the damp roads of Pawsburg. The storm had finally passed. The air was cool and fresh, carrying the scent of rain-soaked grass and clean pavement. Small puddles shimmered under the soft glow of the moon, reflecting the peaceful night sky. Inside the truck, the pups sat quietly, their bodies tired, but their hearts full. They had worked hard tonight, and they knew Pawsburg was safe because of them. Max, ever the careful leader, kept his eyes on the road, steering the truck safely toward home. He sighed contentedly, his tail wagging slightly. "We've worked so hard tonight. Now we just need to get home and rest." Bella, still slightly damp from the rescue, shook off the last drops of water from her golden fur. She snuggled into her seat with a happy sigh. Saving that family felt so good. "I hope they are warm and safe now." In the back, Rocky stretched his legs and let out a long yawn, his icy blue eyes gazing up at the now clear night sky. "The stars are out now," he murmured. "It's funny how peaceful everything feels after a storm." Toby, sitting by the window, watched tiny raindrops slide down the glass. His eyelids felt heavy. "I love helping people," he mumbled sleepily, "but I sure can't wait to curl up in my warm bed." As the truck rumbled through town, the pups saw signs that Pawsburg was returning to normal. At the school, teachers were cleaning up after the flood, their faces filled with relief. In the town square, shopkeepers turned their lights back on, sweeping away leaves and debris. At the bridge, the path was completely clear, the fallen tree now nothing more than a memory. Everywhere they looked, the pups saw the results of their hard work. Max smiled proudly. You see, even after the hardest storms, things always get better, and we helped make that happen. Bella wagged her tail happily. That's what being part of Brave Paws is all about. Rocky nodded, helping others and working together. Toby grinned, his head resting against the window. And knowing that a warm bed is waiting for us when we're done, Max chuckled. That too. The pups laughed softly, feeling proud, fulfilled, and ready for rest. The rescue truck hummed gently, rocking slightly as it rolled down the quiet road. The wind was calm, the rain had stopped, and the night felt safe again. One by one, the pups closed their eyes, their breathing slowing as sleep began to take over. Max glanced back at his team, his heart warm with pride. Then he heard it, a soft snore. He smiled. Almost home, team. Sweet dreams. Above them, the moon shone gently, casting a peaceful glow over Pawsburg. The town slept soundly, knowing that their brave heroes would always be ready for the next adventure. The Brave Paws Rescue Team finally arrived at their cozy headquarters, a large rescue station that stood proudly in the heart of Pawsburg. The rain had stopped, and the night air was fresh and cool. The scent of damp grass and wet pavement filled the air, while tiny drops of water still clung to the rescue truck. As the pups stepped out, they stretched their tired legs, shaking off the last bits of rain from their fur. The storm was over, their mission was complete, and now it was time to rest. Despite his exhaustion, Max took one final walk around the garage, checking their rescue equipment. He inspected the ropes, flashlights, and first aid kits, making sure everything was in its place for the next mission. A good rescue team is always prepared, even after a long night, he thought proudly. Bella, still feeling the cool water on her fur, gently folded her rescue rope and placed her life vest on the drying rack. Her tail wagged as she whispered to herself, "I'm so proud of what we did today. So many lives are safer because of us." Rocky, letting out a big yawn, carefully put the flashlights and blankets back in their storage boxes. His eyes drooped slightly, but his heart was full. We've had a long night, but every mission was worth it, he thought. Meanwhile, Toby didn't waste any time. He climbed onto his big, soft dog bed and stretched out with a happy sigh. Finally, time for some well-earned sleep. Before heading to bed, the team gathered in their cozy living area. They sipped warm milk from their bowls. They talked about their favorite parts of the rescue. They laughed and wagged their tails, feeling proud of their teamwork. Just as they were about to settle down for the night, knock, knock. Max's ears perked up. Who could that be at this hour? He walked to the door and opened it to find a basket of warm treats sitting on the doorstep. Tied to the basket was a handwritten note. To the Brave Paws Rescue Team, thank you for keeping us safe. Sleep well, our heroes. Max's heart swelled with warmth. Bella's tail wagged excitedly. Helping others is the best reward, but a basket of treats is nice too. Rocky grinned, nuzzling the note. This reminds me, kindness always comes back to you. Toby, already munching on a biscuit, mumbled through a mouthful, best rescue mission ever. The pups chuckled together, feeling deeply appreciated and loved by the town they worked so hard to protect. With full bellies and happy hearts, the Brave Paws Rescue Team finally curled up in their warm beds. One by one, their eyes slowly closed, and their breathing became soft and steady. Outside, the moon glowed gently, casting a silver light over Pawsburg. A gentle breeze whispered through the trees, carrying with it a sense of peace and gratitude. Max, the last to fall asleep, looked at his team with pride and whispered, "Sweet dreams, Brave Paws. You've earned it." As the night grew quiet, the town of Pawsburg slept peacefully, knowing that their heroes would always be ready for the next adventure. The first rays of sunlight stretched across Pawsburg, casting a warm, golden glow over the town. The storm was now just a memory. The streets, once soaked with rain, were clean and peaceful, puddles reflecting the sky's soft hues. Birds chirped happily, and a gentle breeze rustled the trees. Inside the Brave Paws Rescue headquarters, everything was quiet and calm. The pups were still curled up in their soft beds, their fur rising and falling with each steady breath. The only sound? Toby's little snores. As the morning light streamed through the windows, Max was the first to wake up. He stretched his legs, gave his fur a good shake, and took a deep breath of the crisp morning air. His ears twitched as he listened to the peaceful silence. A new day means new adventures. I wonder if we'll have a quiet day today, he thought with a small smile. Bella woke up next, her tail wagging as she stretched. She padded over to the window and looked out. The river, which had been wild and dangerous just hours ago, was now calm and peaceful again. It's amazing how the world feels so peaceful after a storm. Rocky, still half asleep, rolled onto his back with a playful wiggle before jumping up, full of energy. I'm ready for anything today. Maybe we'll just have a training session. Last to rise was Toby, who let out a loud yawn as he sat up slowly. He rubbed his eyes with his paws and blinked. I could sleep for another hour, but I guess breakfast sounds better. The pups gathered in the kitchen, enjoying a big breakfast together. Fluffy pancakes with syrup, bowls of fresh milk, crispy strips of bacon. As they ate, they talked about last night's rescues, feeling proud of their teamwork. Max smiled. We saved so many people and kept the town safe. That's what being part of Brave Paws is all about. The team wagged their tails in agreement, just as they were about to finish their meal. Beep, beep, the rescue radio crackled to life. Attention, Brave Paws. A kitten is stuck on top of a tree in Pawsburg Park. We need your help. The pups perked up immediately. Even though they had just woken up, they knew their job was never truly done. Max grinned at his team. Looks like our quiet morning will have to wait. Who's ready for another mission? The pups cheered with excitement, tails wagging wildly. Bella winked playfully. Time to show that kitten how brave we are. Rocky dashed to the door, his paws skidding slightly on the floor. Race you to the rescue truck. Toby grabbed his firefighter helmet and smirked. I guess I'll have breakfast later. The Brave Paws Rescue Team hopped into their rescue truck, the sun shining brightly as they drove toward their next mission. As they rolled into town, the people of Pawsburg waved and smiled, knowing their heroes were always ready to help. The pups knew that no matter how big or small the rescue was, they would always be there to lend a paw. And so, with wagging tails and brave hearts, they raced toward their next adventure, ready for whatever came next. Thank you for joining us on another adventure with the Brave Paws Rescue Team. Now it's time to close your eyes, snuggle up, and drift off into sweet dreams. Remember, bravery isn't about never being scared. It's about helping others, even when things seem tough. And just like our heroes in Pawsburg, you too can be brave, kind, and ready to help whenever you can. Sleep tight, little one. Until next time, sweet dreams.